When a group of French archaeologists set foot on the island of Cyprus in 2001, they quickly realized they were outnumbered. Despite having a population of about 1.2 million people, the island turned out to host an even greater population of cats. By some estimates, as many as 1.5 million felines, both pets and feral, roam across the country. You can spot them practically everywhere. But Cyprus is an island in the middle of the Mediterranean, and if you've ever tried giving a cat a bath, you know they're not exactly fond of water. The nearest mainland is Turkey, about 70 kilometers away. So how did all of these cats get there? The answer may lie in what those French archaeologists uncovered. While excavating an ancient settlement, they came across something surprising. The grave of a man buried with offerings of flint tools, seashells, and an 8-month-old cat. Dating to around 9,500 years ago, this burial stands as some of the oldest known evidence of a close human-cat relationship, predating the more famous Egyptian love of cats by 4,000 years. But when did this companionship first begin? Who were the true ancestors of domesticated cats? And how did humans help cats take over Cyprus, and eventually the world? The answer lies in a complex process known as domestication. Today, the house cat is recognized as its own species, Felis catus. Genetic studies trace its origins back to a wild cat species called Felis sylvestris, which includes 5 different subspecies. Among them, Felis sylvestris libica, the African wildcat, is the direct ancestor of every domesticated cat alive today. These wildcats still roam across North Africa and Southwest Asia. At a glance, they don't look very different from modern house cats, slightly larger, with less variation in coat color. Most wear what's known as a mackerel tabby pattern, with stripes running perpendicular to the spine. The same pattern can even be found in depictions of cats in ancient Egyptian art. Yet, unlike wolves, wildcats are solitary animals with no elaborate social structures. That's why scientists believe the domestication of cats unfolded very differently from that of other animals. Unfortunately, the fossil record of African wildcats is poor, with few specimens preserved well enough for genetic analysis, making the process of cat domestication difficult to reconstruct. Some of the earliest known fossils come from Cyprus, dated to about 11,000 years ago, and from Turkey, around 10,000 years ago. So how did Felis sylvestris libica become Felis catus? Anyone who's lived with cats knows they don't take orders easily. The transformation took a long time, and even today, the full picture remains incomplete. A species is considered domesticated when human-influenced breeding results in permanent genetic changes, and when the species becomes dependent on people to some degree, for food, for shelter, or simply for someone to clean the litter box. The American archaeologist, Dr. Melinda Zeder, has proposed 3 distinct pathways to domestication: the prey pathway, the directed pathway, and the commensal pathway. In the prey pathway, humans initially hunted wild animals, but over time began to manage their herds, which eventually led to captivity and full domestication. Goats and cattle are classic examples. In the directed pathway, people built on lessons learned from earlier attempts, choosing species that could serve specific purposes. Horses, donkeys, and camels were domesticated this way, valued for their ability to pull loads, travel long distances, and bear heavy burdens. And finally, the commensal pathway. Wild animals were drawn to human settlements by the abundance of food, gradually living closer to people. This is the route by which cats were domesticated. For thousands of years, cats lingered near human dwellings simply for food, not companionship. It was only when people noticed how effective they were at catching the rodents that raided food stores that cats began to be welcomed into villages. Evidence comes from isotopic analysis of cat remains in northwestern China, dating to 5,600 years ago. The bones showed traces of millet, the staple grain of local villagers. This suggests cats were eating the mice that fed on stored millet, providing an invaluable service. One individual even revealed a diet with less meat and more millet than expected, implying it either scavenged leftovers or was directly fed by people. So what did domestication do to turn wild cats into house cats? Physically, domestic cats became smaller than their ancestors and developed a wider variety of coat colors and patterns: black, orange, and white coats. along with new variations of tabby striping, appeared as recessive genes in wildcats became more common. By the 19th century, humans had begun deliberately breeding cats to create further diversity in markings and colors. Yet, compared to dogs, cats changed very little. Intriguingly, cats may have been domesticated twice, once in Southwest Asia around 10,000 years ago, and again in Egypt about 3,500 years ago. Genome analyses of modern cats indicate that both populations contributed to today's gene pool. Archaeological discoveries support this as well. At Hierakonpolis in Egypt, 6 burials were found containing 2 adult cats and 4 kittens, dating to between 3,600 and 3,800 years ago. Their small skeletons closely resembled domestic cats, and one even showed healed fractures, suggesting it had been cared for by humans. Around 3,000 years ago, the bond between humans and cats in Egypt grew even stronger, reflected in art and iconography. From there, cats reached Rome through Greek settlers and through interactions between Egypt and Rome. As empires expanded, especially Rome, 2,000 years ago, cats traveled with people, spreading far and wide. Roman households kept cats both as companions and as pest control, a fact immortalized in mosaics and sculptures. But the bigger question remains. If the oldest evidence of domestication is found on Cyprus, then who first brought cats to the island? Today, Cyprus has so many cats that they are often considered a nuisance. Yet thanks to rescue shelters run by volunteers, countless strays still receive care. And it isn't just Cyprus. Cats followed people across the globe. This mutually beneficial relationship allowed them to truly conquer the planet. With their global population now estimated at around 600 million, cats have achieved worldwide dominance. But without humans, they might never have left Africa and Asia in the first place. Perhaps that means house cats should show us a little more respect. Mine, at the very least, could have started by not peeing on the laundry basket. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this journey, be sure to like and subscribe for more.